In this video, we are going to be talking about the basic introduction to the drugs acting on the autonomic nervous system. Separate videos on the subtopics will hopefully be made in the future. Please subscribe to my channel to get notified about my future videos. The autonomic nervous system in our body has two parts, the sympathetic system and the parasympathetic system. The sympathetic system is also called the adrenergic system, and the parasympathetic nervous system is also called the cholinergic system. Also keep in mind that mimetics are substances those mimic something and lytics are substances those inhibit something. The drugs acting on the autonomic nervous system are classified into two: the drugs acting on the cholinergic system and the drugs acting on the adrenergic system. The drugs acting on the cholinergic system are again classified into two: the cholinergic drugs and the anticholinergic drugs. The drugs acting on the adrenergic system are again classified into two: the adrenergic drugs and the anti-adrenergic drugs. The cholinergic drugs are also called the parasympathomimetic drugs. These drugs produce effects similar to the activation of the parasympathetic system. The anticholinergic drugs are also called the parasympatholytic drugs. These drugs produce effects similar to the deactivation of the parasympathetic system. There is one more category of drugs coming under the drugs acting on the cholinergic system. These are the drugs acting on the autonomic ganglia. These drugs produce effects on both sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Yet, these drugs come under the drugs acting on the cholinergic system. This is because of the fact that the activity of autonomic ganglia involves acetylcholine and nicotinic receptors, both being considered a part of the cholinergic system. The drugs acting on the autonomic ganglia are of two types: the ganglionic stimulants and the ganglionic blocking agents. The structure of the autonomic nervous system consists of CNS and effector organs connected by two neurons, namely the pre- and post-ganglionic fibers, and a ganglia connecting them called the autonomic ganglia. The ganglia contains nicotinic receptors named the NN receptors, which are activated by the acetylcholine from the pre-ganglionic fiber. This activation promotes the signal transmission. The ganglionic stimulants cause the activation of the NN receptors, whereas the ganglionic blocking agents cause the blockage of NN receptors. The adrenergic drugs are also called sympathomimetic drugs. These drugs produce effects similar to the activation of the sympathetic system. The anti-adrenergic drugs are also called the sympatholytic drugs. These drugs produce effects similar to the deactivation of the sympathetic system. Since the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system produces effects somewhat in the opposite manner, we might feel like the sympathomimetic drugs, the drugs those mimic the sympathetic system, and the parasympatholytics, the drugs those oppose the parasympathetic system, have the same effect on the body. Here, we need to keep in mind that their actions are similar but not the same. Similarly, we might feel like the sympatholytics, the drugs those oppose the sympathetic system, and parasympathomimetics, the drugs those mimic the parasympathetic system, have the same effects on the body. Here also, we need to remember that their actions are similar but not the same. This is a very brief video on the topic, and I'll be making future videos on ANS pharmacology. If you liked the video, please hit the like and share button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.